Hi, welcome to today's QuiverLive. It's been a while since we've done one, so we're excited to come back this Memorial Day. And first and foremost, thanks to all of you who have contributed, given, or sacrificed for our country. My heart is heavy today with those that I have lost. So my condolences to those that have lost someone in active duty. I'm Amanda Fox, and I'm here with Zeny, who is the co-host for today, and she's also the education consultant for QuiverVision, who has been amazing at managing the ambassador program. And we're excited today because we have 6 ambassadors, global ambassadors, Portugal, Turkey, from all over. I can't even remember where everyone's from. And we're going to dig into some of their lesson plans and activity plans that they've created around QuiverVision coloring pages. So Zeny, do you want to?
Hi, yes, this is so exciting. We have not just 1 or 2, but we have actually 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 education ambassadors with Quiver, and we are so glad that you're here, and we're so glad that you're sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your creativity, and the things that you're doing in your classroom, which are meaningful, not just in your countries, but worldwide. And I think that that's what Quiver is all about, just kind of uniting everybody worldwide in this augmented reality passion that we have, right?
Absolutely. And if you look at the chat, we have people coming in from Greece, from Portugal, from Nigeria, Colombia, Brazil, Morocco, Iran. So it's truly a Turkey. It's truly a global audience that Quiver has been able to build, and we're excited to share their voice and some of the activities that they've designed for worldwide AR integration into education. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up and let them introduce themselves. All right, welcome all.
Hi.
Hi. So Cynthia, if you'd like to start, we're just going to kind of go around and introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Cindy Hopkins. I'm from Texas, Deep South Texas.
Cindy from Texas. Dee.
Hello, I am Özcan from Turkey, and it is 9 p.m. in Turkey. We have a lovely rainy weather. Nice to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
I am Tara Hannon from Virginia, the United States.
My name is Dee Kalman. I am a middle school STEM teacher in New Jersey, the United States.
Hi, I'm Ana Maria. I am from Republic of Moldova, and I am a teacher of computer science and robotics. Nice to see everyone here.
Hi, I'm Fernando. I'm from Portugal. I'm a primary teacher, and here is about 7 p.m.
Awesome. And I'm in Kentucky, which it's right at 2 p.m. here. So we have all time zones. We hope we found a time that works for everyone. And we're excited to kind of kick off with our first ambassador sharing her lesson plan. I'm going to pop the rest of you down, and we'll bring you up one at a time to kind of talk about the amazing stuff that you've designed around augmented reality. All right, here we go. So Cindy.
And mine is can you spot the difference in the cells? So if you can, Zinnia,
yeah, let me get that up. I have the other one up, so let's see here. Right. Sorry.
So how do you spot the difference in the cells? So we're going to go ahead and share that lesson with you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not being able. Okay, present.
Yep. Go down to present.
Share screen. That's what it is. Okay, perfect. And Dr. Hopkins, you had, can you spot the differences
yes, ma'am.
in the cells? So hopefully you guys can see that.
I love these Quiver pages. I've used this lesson. I've used the Quiver pages as both a intro to the cells as well as kind of after they know something about the cells. But this lesson plan positions the QuiverVision plant and animal cells after you've introduced the cells. So the students know something about the cells, about their organelles, about their structure, and about how those structures work. And so I've included some YouTube videos to help you figure out how to position the two pages. I usually like to give the kids one and I'll work through the first one. And I usually use the animal cell first. So I can also remind them to make a key up at the top. So if you look at the page itself, the animal cell has where the students can find the nucleus and the membrane. And I'm usually pretty sneaky. I don't let my kids know it's augmented reality at first. I let them, we'll go over the cell structures, and my students will write out what the organelles functions are. And then I just quietly happen to have my phone in my hand, and I take lots of pictures in my classroom. And then I quietly just put my phone over one of the kids' pages, and then the magic takes off because the kids go, woo! And all of a sudden they're talking to each other, Miss, can we do this? And so immediately my kids start putting Quiver on their phones so they can watch their cells come to life. And so then they usually have to do the plant cell. And it's usually for homework because we run out of time. It's kind of how it is. And I get lots and lots of parents asking, "What? How can they do this?" And I'm like, easy with a cell phone. And off it goes. And my students spend a lot of time using these to also study for tests. This past year, I did things a little differently. This actually kicked off. We went over, we had the great animal cell with the key. We talked about things, and my kids were kind of trying to figure out what all of the parts were just by a cue card I made. So my students needed to figure out structures. And so then when they figured the first one, animal cells, and they were coloring it, and I walked around, and then they were amazed, and they're like, show me more. And phones came out, and it's a great way for my students to use their phones with their learning. So many times I read all of the blogs and stuff about cell phones, and oh my gosh, they take the kids' attention away. With QuiverVision, it puts the kids in the driver's seat of their learning, but using those phones for learning. So absolutely love the QuiverVision pages. Been using them for before COVID. And so it seems like a long time now.
I love it. One of the things that I see in the classroom sometimes is that teachers are so adamant about not having the students use their own personal devices and their own personal phones. And actually, we're missing the mark here. We're missing the point. They have them. Let's use them for a greater good. So I totally agree with you.
And it's a great way for them to then study because they have it in their hands, and then they are learning the shapes of the structure. And then I really I need them to also know the functions. And so we do a lot with attaching those shapes and those functions together so students learn about cells and can be able to identify them.
I love it.
Yep, we've got a lot of comments coming in. John Wick says, as former middle school science teacher, this is amazing. We've got great point, positive way to allow students to use their phone.
And students want to use their devices. We need to teach them how to use them where it is beneficial to them and not distracting them. And QuiverVision allows that. And so in my class, a tip, my students can have their phones, they're out on their corner of their desks. And so if they're out on upside down, literally upside down, so it's face down, so they can't see all the things that come in. But when I tell them and give them permission to use them, then I tell them, it's on me. So if an admin comes in and the kid's on their phone, it's, oh, I gave you permission. And I mean, and there are times where the kids are like, my mom is texting me. Okay, I give you permission, and we have a dedicated spot in my classroom that the kids will go stand there and do whatever texting to parents or grandparents that they need to do to come back into the lesson.
I love it, because that is really and truly, what we would expect as adults, right? I mean, we have our phone with us. We have families. They have families. It's also, as you said, using it in the correct way, right? So not going on social media, not texting their friend, hey, we're going to meet each other after school.
Right.
It's actually utilizing what they have for educational purposes.
It's using that tool as a tool. And so we need to teach them how to use it as a tool. And so QuiverVision pages is one of the ways that you can teach students how to study what's in the classroom at home, and it's interactive and it's engaging. And so I've had students share their color page with somebody who's missed class. And so they've taken pictures of it. And then that kid comes in and says, here's what y'all did yesterday. Yes, that's what we did yesterday. And you can do it today in tutorials. So let's go.
And this is the lesson that if kids miss a day, they want that page when they come back to class.
They do.
Like, they don't want to miss out on the augmented reality content. And some people say AR is a hook or a gimmick. It's not. It's educational. And the way Quiver has designed their coloring pages, it's an immersive, interactive lesson in a page.
And with science, models are so important, and it allows us, all models have limitations. So it allows us to use what is the limitation of this model. And so it expands their knowledge of not just cells. So this page goes beyond just teaching cells. It teaches them about limitations of models.
Absolutely. And I've got the QuiverVision website pulled up here. If you're watching and you're new to QuiverVision, if you go to QuiverVision.com, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial of Quiver that is the education dashboard. And the education dashboard is a hub for all of your students. You can create an account for them. They can use it at home, and you can get 7 days for free and test drive it. I have an account. We also have augmented reality children's books that we're working on. Let me just go back here. And the coloring pages are plentiful. So the coloring packs, you can find them by going to coloring packs and look at all the different coloring pages that there are to see what fits into your lesson plans. And then the activity plans, if you go to our activity plans here, the new ones always pop up. So they're really good about posting like which ones are new. Sorry, trying to. And you can also search by content area: science, social emotional learning, math, English. And there's just a ton of activities that you can find and, personalized for your classroom.
Yes, I've used the DOT, and my students used it to highlight what biome they were studying. So if you go to that, it's the lesson on here is all about being creative. The creative dot drawing, it's all about creativity. Well, I turned it on its head and added science, and it was all about biomes. And
nice.
So,
and that's the beautiful thing. You can customize this to fit any content area. Well, thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
We are now going to bring up our next ambassador. Özcan from Turkey.
Hello. Is it
Hello.
my turn?
It
I'm
is.
saying all right. Okay. So am I supposed to present my screen or are you gonna share the plan?
I
see that.
am going to share it.
So if you just kind
my
of tell them a
culture.
little bit about the lesson while she's
Yes.
while
Okay,
she's
really
working on
appreciate
pulling
it.
it up, we can preface with our viewers with what we're about to show them.
Okay, first of all, I am really sorry for my voice. I have just arrived Turkey from the Erasmus Mobility. I was in Romania, Brașov, Vulcan for the job shadowing. We had a nice week and I had a flu and a kind of sore throat. So I'm really sorry about my voice and the presentation. It's really nice to be here and sharing our experience about the Quiver because my learners, my students really enjoy and appreciate these educational tool because it is kind of entertainment, also technology integration for them because they really fond of using their tablets and the smartphones. Whenever it is a time to using technology and when they hear about the cure, they really so enthusiastic and they eager to have activities. So my topic and the activity was about my culture, my heritage, which was based on our cultural heritage. Actually, it was part of our evening project, and the aim was for our sixth grade learners to be aware of our cultural heritage, the UNESCO places in our country. So first of all, for the engagement part, I want my learners to watch some YouTube videos and search on internet about UNESCO sites. And then I told them to decide their favorite place to draw some UNESCO heritage places in our country. And then the activity was the Yuri the painter. The Yuri the painter is one of the most practical cover page. So with this page, you can draw whatever you want on this platform on the paper. I just hand out the paper, and then in groups, maybe individual or with their partners, they draw a heritage place, historical place on the paper on the frame, and then they are supposed to color it. After that, with their smartphone or the tablets, they have this scanning, and then augmented reality comes. When they saw that their art or their creation makes the visual, they really got excited and enthusiastic about it. So it is very useful for the slow learners, for the students with the talented with the drawing and the picture. Also, I use this material for the special education needed students because in our schools we have about one or two learners. So they really feel about that they are or they are supposed to be lazy by their peers. But if it is time to have some drawing or the painting, so they got their encouragement and the self-confidence. Sometimes they really make good work, and or it is really possible to match them with the other learners, with their friends. So it is a result of peer learning or group activity. Also, I'm an ELT English teacher, and my second profession is ICT. For the flow activities, to evaluate my learners for their portfolio files, maybe I tell them to prepare a presentation with their core work. So at the end of the day, they are supposed to present their drawing, the augmented reality UNESCO heritage place, and then they are supposed to make sentences in English to present that place, the city, the country, and a brief information about it. So it is kind of also we can say STEM. We are combining different subjects, different skills, and also it is about 21st century skill because they can learn by doing, they enjoy, it has a group activity and technology integrated.
Absolutely. It combines all of those things. And I love that you're also leveraging it for English language learning as well. And I'm just going to play a quick video of the Yuri the painter so you can see it in action. Do we have sound? And that is a little bit of what the app interaction looks like with the coloring page and the phone. And you can find his activity plan, Özcan's lesson plan here. And I'm just gonna, I should have dropped, we'll drop these all in the chat. But the activity plans you can access for free at any time. And I'm posting that now. And you can get a 7-day free trial for your students. If your students don't have phones, let's say you have primary students, you're teaching kindergarten, first grade, second grade. If you have a few devices, you can create stations for them and kind of rotate them through as well. But I love your lesson plan here, and I love the way that it's set up. We've got the UNESCO World Heritage video, the
I gotta
activity.
say that was one of the things I had never personally seen. That one of the beauty of looking at all these activity plans is the different perspective that you see, something you had never heard about. The World Heritage List, I never knew about. So this brought me to, which is one of the reasons why I love this activity plan. It just gives you such a holistic, a worldwide view of all the beautiful and historic places that we have on Earth, and it gives them the reasoning why. So I am so glad that you wrote this and you included the UNESCO images and a website. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It really
Also,
is.
in addition to that, in that activity, I had some extra activities for my hardworking guys. Let's say it is in the Quiver website, in the portal, we have the landmarks, 7 wonders of the world, about Colosseum, or let's say, and the other Great Wall of the China and Taj Mahal, etc. So I also downloaded these. Yeah, exactly. You can see on the screen. I hand out these landmarks from the Quiver. So they also have the awareness about 7 wonders of the world. The other activities of the Quiver papers, I combined 2 activity together. So it was like a drawing and getting self-awareness or the engagement for the historical places. I really appreciate for this activity, and really thanks for the Quiver team.
Quiver does an amazing job, and that landmark packet is fantastic. It's a great way to bring pieces of the world into your own physical space. And I've seen teachers make postcards with students where, they stand next to the landmark and they take a picture, and they do descriptive writing with it. And no, I love this. So they experienced the different landmarks, and then they also took videos and photos of their own drawings. And that is the learning artifact that is documented at the end of the activity.
Also, another advantage of this Quiver activity, I have the chance to present and explain the Industry 4.0 about artificial intelligence. I have chance to tell and promote them what is the augmented reality, virtual reality, or mixed reality and extended reality. So with these activities, they have to realize what is the new technology, new trendy technology, and the Industry 4.0 is promoting for us. Also, at the end of the lesson, when they learn about the enjoyment part of the Quiver and the idea of the augmented reality, when they go home, they tell their experience with their brothers and sisters, with their family, also tell the other teachers. So it is very good to dissemination of the Quiver and the augmented reality for the society and the other learners.
Exactly. That family of augmented reality and virtual and mixed, it just keeps growing exponentially when you do that, because word gets out, and now these kids are excited, and they're bringing it home and they're sharing it with their friends. So absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Jocelyn asks, is this available and applicable for physical education subjects? I would say yes. If we look at, there's a whole sports pack of Brian the Bull and Murphy with soccer. So you can bring those in and have students practice it, like if they're younger students, analyzing the rules of the game, how it's played. And then you can even pull in some math sheets and look at like from a basketball perspective, like shooting different angles, like, so you can get creative.
A sphere, and we have that 2D and 3D sphere that you can also, present as part of the math component in the physical education part. Yeah.
And
Well,
I want to thank you too, and also for the Quiver team presenting such a good materials for me as a teacher and for my students, learners. They really enjoy and they appreciate. And at the end of the lesson, I realized they learn something about. It's a permanent learning. They enjoy, they like it, and they have something to tell and to teach other people. So really appreciate for your all efforts.
Well, thank you. And I'm sure Nisha and Nils, our other Quiver team members, are watching. But thank you for coming on and developing such great resources and being just a wonderful teacher for your students.
Thank you.
Same goes for me. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Özcan.
So next we are going to bring up Tara Hannon from Virginia.
Hello. Yes.
I believe.
Yes, and my lesson that I did was Dear Martin, Nick Stone's debut novel. So if you can pull up, it was the Augmented Reality shoe characterization activity. So just a little bit of background information. I started out actually using QuiverVision in a K-5 library where I spent 11 years of my career. And this is the first year I have been back to secondary education, where I am now a grade 9 through 12 librarian. And so I brought Quiver with me, and I will tell you the reaction, just like Dr. Hopkins mentioned earlier, the reaction is the same. I don't care if they're in kindergarten or in 9th grade, the wow factor has been the exact same. So it's been fantastic. So those of you who are familiar with Dear Martin, this is Nick Stone's debut novel. And like Amanda mentioned, I actually set my activities up in a station format. So we brought the high schoolers in and we showed a YouTube video on unconscious bias and talked about that and how that impacted their lives, the lives of the characters in the novel, and just had some really, really phenomenal conversations on that topic. And then we started to unpack the characters, the direct characterization, the indirect characterization. And because I like to give my students tools as a former English teacher, I like to provide them with vocabulary. So we looked at some different character word banks, and this is all included in the activity lesson, where the students are actually given the words. These are great words that you can use to describe different elements of personality, just to kind of give them that assist. And then through that, we had them then use the shoe augmented reality quiver sheet to then create a shoe that they thought the main character would wear. That could include symbolism. It could include different concepts from the novel that would reflect the main character's personality traits. And I did allow them to also choose other characters if they wanted to. I focused mostly on the main character, but they could pick some of Justice's friends. We also did a little bit of research on Martin Luther King, because if you know, the main character writes to Dr. Martin Luther King throughout the book to kind of share his experiences and to reflect, well, what would you do, Dr. Martin Luther King, if these events happened to you? So we were able to bring in social justice, characterization, and really develop a great characterization activity based around this novel. And I think it had a pretty big impact with the students. And again, the wow factor, I have iPad kiosks set up throughout the library. So the QuiverVision app is there, and we scan the QR code and it comes to life. So they just can walk by and they set it down, and then they get to take turns seeing their creation come to life. So again, the wow factor is pretty significant.
Agreed.
I love seeing a kid's face for the first time. It's that.
Listen,
Yeah.
I love seeing an adult's face for the first time when I'm showing them to other educators. It is the same face. It is just that same awe feeling, like, I didn't believe this was possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've really enjoyed it. Another coloring sheet that we've done just recently in the last couple of days, I decided to really be adventurous. And I do have another activity plan. It's on ocean animals. I didn't use it this time with the high school students, but what we did is we decided to do a summer reading launch where we cycled through all the students, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students, to come to the library to prepare for summer reading. And we gave them, and we chose a shark theme. And we had all kinds of silliness going on, games. They were able to check out books before they leave for the summer. We got them public library cards. It was a whole party. So we pulled out all of these shark QuiverVision and aquatic QuiverVision sheets. And again, the wow factor. I mean, I have pictures of students. I'll be sharing those too on a post, on a Facebook post. I'll be sure to tag QuiverVision. But just the looks on their faces, they're like, no way, this can't be possible. Because then, of course, you can tap the shark and you learn information about the shark. Mm-hmm. So many of the students, I've gotten really great feedback about how the shark party was their favorite part of the whole year. And being able to turn these sharks into 3D augmented reality was just really a lot of fun. So, you know, I use the sheets for educational purposes because like you mentioned earlier, there is so much information that you can learn. And there's, because I'm a librarian, I do tie a lot of these quiver sheets to literature. I also, I love the cell sheets. So I've also done science lessons as well. But then when you are trying to have a party and you want a wow factor, you can also use the quiver sheets and be very successful. So I was happy to be the popular teacher last week with all the fun, you know, silly snacks. And we even had a blow up shark costume and then the augmented shark, you know, just really sealed the deal. So it was, you know, it can be used for all facets of education. So I'm super grateful to have this tool that we can use and just really get that excitement in our students. Even our older students who are not as likely to, they're a little bit tougher customers. So it was fantastic.
So one of the cool things that I think your students would benefit from too, especially like in the library, is the digital aquarium. I don't know if you played with it yet, but everyone has access. They can get access to the digital aquarium. And you essentially have the program running on a projector. And as kids color the individual sheets, they actually scan them in and they can see their fish swimming.
Oh, wow.
We'll just jump, but you customize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the iPad is connected to the monitor or a projector, you said?
Yeah. So there's a program that you put on a computer that connects to the projector. And as long as the iPads are on the same Wi-Fi network, once they scan it and they scan the QR code, their fish automatically pops up in the aquarium and swims. Awesome. It's their custom, and they have an airfield too with airplanes. Like if you're teaching the Wright brothers or history in terms of industrial or technical developments and the transportation revolution. So there's just Quiver just does such an amazing job. They think out of the box with how to get kids so excited about learning. And I love the shoe activity. And if you go, oh my gosh, Tara, you have so many lessons. So let's go in here. If we go to activity plans and we scroll over, you can see which educator has designed each lesson plan, the grade level it's for. Zeny, you have a ton too. But here's Tara here, Zeny, Özcan, Zeny. We've got Dee, who's going to be coming up in a minute. So just all of these amazing, global reflections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. You just passed some Taras.
Yeah.
Right,
Did I just
right there. No, on the top.
dinosaurs?
And then
Dinosaurs.
oh yeah,
Community
community jobs. That was a fun one. That was fun with kindergarten. Life cycles, deep dive, ocean ecosystems.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, now
Solar
I have to have my
system.
party all over again so I can do the digital aquarium.
The digital aquarium is magical.
That's really neat. Next time I'll do that. So next year I'll have another ace up my sleeve with that one. They'll be amazed.
That would be amazing.
We've been trying to get Savannah Bee Company on board to create a beehive ecosystem with the different bees. So
that would be amazing.
Fingers
that
crossed.
would be amazing.
I'm still working that.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sarah. We appreciate
so much
you sharing. And our viewers, please make sure you go to the Quiver activity plan reservoir or repository and just scroll through and take a look. All right. Our next guest is Fernando Vasques. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invite. I apologize for my English. It's not the best, but I'll try to explain everything. So I'm Fernando Vasques. I'm coming from Portugal. I'm a primary school. Nowadays, my class is in third grade. They are 8 years old, and I'm a technology enthusiast, and I work a lot with project-based learning. I love to work with projects because I think is one of the skills for the future, working projects. So I like to start all my classes with a question, and this class start with this question: where is Portugal located in the world? And they all answer, okay, it's in Europe, it's near these countries, okay, but are all the countries the same? Are they equal? And why the all the countries not equal in the houses? And they discover, okay, some countries are colder, some are hotter, so we try to work with that. They explore some videos, and they learn the seasons, why the seasons existed. So we explore that, and they find out that the temperatures are different in the around the world. In the south they are hotter. Yeah. So they discover that, and we put that temperatures in the map, in the Quiver world map, and they can saw the different temperatures around the world, and it was amazing for them because they could learn that for the first time they saw that the world is round, and it's the same around the south side and the north side. And then we saw what are the effects of the climate change, the
Wow.
everything
true
around
project
yeah. So they do that, and then in the end they saw the different houses around the world. They see the different changes. For example, they saw the house in the North Pole, in the South Pole. They are completely different from, for example, Nigeria. The type of houses. So it was an amazing class. It was for some kids they have 6 years old. So it was amazing for them to learn and to see. And then when they saw the map and they pop off the tablet, they whoa, it's amazing. it's my planet. It was incredible.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and then in the end, I asked them to create a country with a different house, and they used a Quiver flag template, and they created a flag in the end. So they created a new whole country. Yeah,
wow, I love it.
I love the resources that you provided in this activity plan with the NASA images of change, right? I think that is so impactful. And then, bringing it together by looking at, we live in a bubble, right? We live in our own world as we know it. Getting students to think outside and for them to realize that the world is huge, that there's different, what happens here doesn't happen somewhere else. The weather here is not the same as it is in, in Portugal right now.
Yes.
So to see that come to life and for them to realize that gives them a whole different perspective
Yes.
on life and on the world. So I love these resources that you provided in your activity plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sharing that activity plan right now in the chat. So if you're on LinkedIn, it may not go to the comments that I send out. Do not go to LinkedIn. So if you find us on Teacher Goals or teachergoals.com, or go to the QuiverVision Facebook group, if you have not joined, go to our QuiverVision educator community, sign up, join. You'll find out about all the amazing new coloring sheets that are coming out, new activity plans, and you get to connect with amazing educators like Fernando here to share and learn from. All right. Thank you,
Fernando.
Thank you.
So next we've got Anna. Hi, Anna. If you'll just take a minute to kind of tell our viewers who you are and a little bit about your lesson.
Do you hear me well? Okay.
I do.
Yes.
I am Anna Maria. I am from Republic of Moldova, and I represent Heritage International School. So I am using QuiverVision. I am integrating it in my lessons since 2 years. I remember even first time when I did find it on an activity in a teacher community. I was like, what is this QuiverVision? So from that time, I'm always trying to integrate it in my curriculum everywhere. My program in school is actually computer science, but also I have digital literacy in primary school. And half year they are studying digital literacy, and other half year they are doing collage and decorations. But once I am teacher of computer science, I cannot not use technologies even there where maybe they're not supposed to be. And this lesson actually became famous. I even didn't expect this. We had to learn during a module the quilling technique. So after like 4 or 5 lessons, when students had to have the last lesson of this quilling technology, I were thinking that maybe it would be great if they use a model, and it was of course Easter, because here's the Easter egg. And I found out that on the Quiver there is actually an egg, and idea came and I said, okay, this is, I think, the best idea to use. Students didn't know. Actually, they all maybe like, I don't know, 50% of them knows already about QuiverVision that we are using, but these kids were just like first and the second grade, so they were not introduced yet. And it was a surprise at the end for them when I gave the secret at the end and said that actually, you can use this in next way. I already involved here the parents, because the students are small, so they cannot use yet too much phones or tablets, for example. So these were like home task for those who want, of course. And in the lesson, we try to do this with a few phones. And when the lesson finished, actually, I didn't expect that it will have such a big success. So I decided to make this lesson plan and to send. And also I had a lot of compliments and feedbacks from my colleagues, from the students. that were coming from other classrooms and asking if will we do this also with them, because they are waiting this. So it was like news, like something new. Oh, we will do this. We already know what we will do at this lesson. So once they had to work hard, actually, because they have to make many models from Quilling there, they were very motivated to finish it, because once we finish, I said that if we finish, we can use technology so we can see what we had there. The most interesting thing was that students could collect eggs. So we had a physical activity in the school that they had to hunt eggs. And also they did this in a digital way. So of course, as my other colleague said here, this was like wow effect. And for me, even it was very nice and interesting.
We did have a comment. What about games? The application has the games for making the lesson funny. A lot of the Quiver pages do have games built in, and this one does have the egg hunt side. So
this egg model, it has an egg hunt. So I think it's amazing to have a lesson plan for Easter holidays before they are going, to make it fun. With the classes that like secondary, they can make it in the classroom. Others that are smaller, or maybe if it's about even kindergarten. So I think if parents are involved, they also can learn something new.
I love it. I honestly had not ever heard the term quilling. And as I was reviewing your activity plan, I was just so engaged. I was so enthralled in learning about this. And I'm like, how could I never did this with my second graders. I wish I would have, gone back in time and been able to do this. This is great. And it's the creative aspect, the artistic aspect, for them to create something and then see it in a whole different way in terms of decorating an egg. But not just there, you're taking it to the next level and putting that all into a 3D augmented reality experience. I loved the way that you combined the artistic talents with, the Easter egg hunt, and teaching them about that, and also bringing the augmented reality aspect into it. They must, I can definitely see how other teachers would have been like, we love this, we got to try this. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a whole, and the beautiful thing is the way you built an entire activity and project and this whole unit around this one page. And that's one thing that I want our viewers to understand is these pages, they don't have to be standalone activities. You can build them out. You can front load them. You can have assessments at the end. You can have activities. They can be reviews. They can come in at any point of lesson design and enhance your pedagogy. Thank you, awesome. Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Our next ambassador is Dee. We're going to pull her up, and she's going to talk about symbolism of the Juneteenth flag.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. So, excuse me. Last year, my school has had off for Juneteenth several years in a row. So not just since it became a federal holiday. And I wanted to do a deep dive in the symbolism of the flag. And I love this flag template. I've written several lesson plans just with this one template. I find it that you can apply it to anything, to really do a deep dive in the symbolism of any flag. And so this lesson plan happens to focus on Juneteenth, which is coming up in just a few weeks. Mm-hmm. But I also did the same template for International Women's Day, which is in March, and the students design their own flags. But anyway, so we start off with this specific lesson plan with a jigsaw. And I find whenever you do, it's an interactive jigsaw. And with an interactive jigsaw, all the students are working on the same jigsaw puzzle together collaboratively. And it's a way to really focus on what it is and the shapes and the colors that are included in the flag. So that is my initial starting off. And then scroll down a little bit. There we go. Then we watch a video. And I find the Brain Pop video, although it's simple in a way, it's very succinct. Sure, you can do a deep dive in the history and kind of go off on 45 tangents, but I like the Brain Pop video, which is one of the free videos that they offer on YouTube, and it's linked right there. It really talks about, within a 5-minute video, the exact symbolism. Then the next thing I do is I create a copy and I attach the Juneteenth Google drawing, and I share it on Google Classroom. And then I have students research each part of the flag. So I don't proactively say, what do the colors mean? What does the star mean? And I have them connect the dots. And then, similar to what a previous ambassador said, is that I don't tell them, I believe the first ambassador, I don't tell them it comes alive. It just looks like a basic piece of paper, in which it is. It's not special paper, but I don't tell them like the grand finale. And sure, I don't think scanning it is needed in terms of the learning environment, but it does create an emotional response that I believe the students are more likely to remember. And so the fact that it's a special experience, they're more likely to remember it at the end, which I think is neat. So another thing I really like about this activity is that it applies for English language learners, that we don't, it's recreating, it's coloring, it's English isn't needed. 70% of my students are Hispanic, 30% are African American, 50% do not speak English at home. So in terms of language learners, like, this doesn't have to be a lesson that English is needed. Additionally, I have done this lesson with multiply disabled classes. I teach 5 through 8, but I used this for, this was an extension activity to have a book read. But I've used this for a multiply disabled class of students with Down syndrome, and more like on a 1st and a 2nd grade academic level. So it really can span. I've also done this activity with adults with professional development, because I think, I don't know, before teaching this lesson, I didn't know exactly what the arc represented on the Juneteenth flag. And then I asked the students, why do you feel red, white, and blue is included? Because the Juneteenth was the end of slavery, and that the slaves and their descendants are currently Americans. And what does the star in the middle represent? So anyway, that it stems from Galveston, Texas, and that's where they started from. The starburst is moving forward and the excitement. So anyway, all of this symbolism, they can really see, and when they scan it, their flag comes to life.
Awesome. I love it. I love how so many, and we've seen it before, as Fernando said, the earth, quiver coloring page, the Yuri the painter, this one right here, it could lead to so many different aspects of education that we as educators are constantly trying to, how are we going to motivate our kids? How are we going to engage them? How can we bring that creativity out to light? And Quiver does this with these amazing coloring pages that you can use in different type of content areas. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this.
We just had a question. How do we implement in Montessori teaching environments? That's a great question. Montessori is all about exploring the child's natural interests and desires and wants. There's over 100 coloring pages that Quiver has put out. So a great way to do that is with STEM bins. or activity bins and having the coloring page, and just have them pick the bins that interest them. If they're into aquatic animals, or if they're into planes and automobiles, there's a transportation pack. You can use it for career readiness, or to expose them to, learning about a fire truck, which is a great activity. So I think Quiver and Montessori go hand in hand because it's all about that natural interest and self-exploration. And with the app, they can kind of go through this autonomous self-discovery of what the page holds on their own.
You're absolutely right, Amanda. There's so many different ways that we can bring this to all sorts. And I love that, Dee, that you talked about our English language learners, right?
Yes.
Or any other, using these visuals is definitely those ESOL strategies that we use in the classroom to get our non-native speakers to understand the content. And this just does an amazing job.
It does. And you can find Dee's pack. Let me pull it up real quick. She's got an International Women's Day one as well. But if you go to Quiver, let me see where my screen went. You can find her pack on symbolism, or her activity on symbolism of the Juneteenth flag on the Quiver website. Just go to activity pack and search flag. And you have the standards are aligned. All of her activity plans, all of her resources, the brain pop video, the jigsaw puzzle, everything that she covered here, you can find right there. So you can use it as is or tweak it to fit the students in your classroom. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to bring everybody back up in just a second. But before we do, I also want to mention that QuiverVision has a augmented reality workbook series that we've just come out with, and it's in collaboration with Teacher Goals. And in this workbook, it combines alphabet and phonics. So it's meant for teachers, but it's a great summer resource. So think about that next summer. If you need students who need extra practice, I have a kindergartner and he is struggling. We are going to be utilizing this workbook this summer, and he loves this workbook because as he goes through the workbook, it has the alphabet recognition checklist to keep them accountable. Like, do you know your A, capital A, lowercase, and then the mastery. Okay, so now we've gone to mastery level, and it's got the parent initial spot, the teacher initial spot, and the date they mastered it, like when it's really clicked with them. And it has animal facts. So when you scan the page, the animals come to life, the alligator's there, but there's also a spelling game where it has alligator, and you can touch the letters, and it gives the sound of each letter as you drag it and spell it correctly. And they're just dragging the letters to it's like a shape match. They're dragging the A to the A. It's recognition. This A goes to this A. They're just matching it up. And it's for pre-K students and kindergarten students. And it could go all the way through second grade, because we have the handwriting component as well. The path of motion is built in. So if you're just getting into kindergarten and you're not sure what the path of motion is, that's in there for you. And then finally, we have augmented reality kids books. And I have developed some stations around Markertown. Markertown was written and illustrated by me. We have Monsters Have Manners, which is all SEL, and it's about creating students who are proud of their workspaces, proud of their personal spaces. There's a clean your room game, and it gives 5 facts of why students should be tidy. But with the Markertown, there's a marker bot challenge. So if you have a makerspace, you can get this little playground activity off of Amazon. They can build a playground for Markertown. It's all about markers in a school. They can upcycle their markers and turn the caps into finger puppets. There's a spray station for dried out markers, putting markers in water bottles. And then there's a design reflection for the end for all of the designs that they've created as they rotate through the stations. And without further ado, we are going to wrap up and bring up everyone back into the chat. All right. So first off, I want to give every single one of you a round of applause and a thank you for designing amazing content and sharing it with the world. If you are watching and you're getting started with Quiver, you can contribute your lesson designs too by going to the QuiverVision.com, go to activity plans, and there's a blank template. You can fill it out, and you can use the same template everyone else has done and submit your plans and what you're doing with your students to empower teachers all over the world so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're going to... Zeny, if you don't mind, we're going to end. We're just going to go around and say what our favorite Quiver page is.
Okay.
We're going to start with you.
I'll start. I'm going to start with me. I love the water cycle. I love the water cycle Quiver page. That's my favorite.
Cynthia.
I love the volcano. I love it, watching it, build up and then explode.
Yes. And then you can make volcanoes in class and make it do it with baking soda and vinegar.
And I lived on Mount Etna, so I know all about erupting volcanoes.
Oh, nice.
I'd have to say my favorite would have to be the frog life cycle sheet. That one's
frog
really
life
fun.
Cycle.
Yeah.
All the life cycles are amazing.
Yeah. There is. It's really amazing.
Fernando.
The animal cycle, the food chain. I love it. My students explore that, and they were amazed. And they learn English we are Portuguese. They don't know much about English. Then they learn the English because they have what is this in the fox? What is the fox? The bullseye. And I'll try to translate. It was amazing.
Obrigada.
Perfect.
I know very little Portuguese. I was in Brazil for a little bit, so Lisbon's on my list. I have to go to Lisbon.
Yes.
All right, D.
I have a tie. I do love the flag one because I find it universal. Like, I always have extra copies handy because it's such an easy go-to for everything in all classes and all grades. But before STEM was a thing, I was a math teacher. Before STEM was its own content. And the Pi Day one is pretty awesome. It's a pretty fun go-to. So I was quickly Googling it to see if it still existed because I haven't touched it in a while, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it does. I actually created a lesson plan around the Pi Day one. It's rope the moon pie, and it's using Twizzlers to figure out the diameter, radius, and so so check that one out. Anna.
Thank you very much for listening to me. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more lessons to do. I think it was amazing from Tara with the fishes. So it's something like, wow. I think this is the first what I'll do. And hope to see you next time in the live again. It was really nice and exciting. Thank you.
And Özcan.
Okay, actually I have two. The first one is the flag because it's very practical for the icebreakers. We have it for the Erasmus, the meeting ceremonies and the It projects flag. And the second one is the motorbike because our learners can add some LED lights and add some stickers or writings on the motorbike so they can share their favorite bicycle on that. So these two are my favorites.
I'm right there with you with the flag. Having worked with Quiver for so long, it's like picking a favorite child because I've worked on so many activities with these sheets. I'm going to go with 2 packs and cheat. I like the dinosaur pack because who doesn't love dinosaurs? And the new respiratory or the organ systems that came out.
Human anatomy.
Yeah. Anatomy. Thank you.
Yes.
Human
anatomy. Yes.
It's in my brain. Yeah, the anatomy packet is amazing, and I think it gives a bit of magic for older kids to kind of explore that. So
Next year, my class will use it because they will learn about the human, I forgot the words.
Anatomy.
The
Yeah.
anatomy.
Yeah,
So
anatomy.
it's really amazing to see all the organs.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your fantastic Quiver knowledge with everyone. Thank you to our viewers. We hope you tune in. There will not be as big of a gap between this QuiverLive and the next one. We hope to get back to doing them once a month or once a quarter. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday break for those in the States. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.